I've talked to so many people who look at me and like, rejection? I've never experienced rejection. And I'm like, wow, I wish I were you. I don't know what that's like. And then I will talk to other people who are so hurt by rejection that just the idea of reading my book or listening to these videos fills their heart with fear because of the pain that they might have to revisit. Proverbs 14:12 says this: "There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death." So our default pattern of dealing with rejection is first we start with this outward response, what happened between me and the other person, or you and the other person. Then we start to look at ourselves on an internal basis and think, well, there must be something inherently wrong with me. Or do I just wear a neon sign that says reject me hanging over my head? And then thirdly, we look at God and we say, God, why do you allow this to happen? You're big. You can walk on water. You can calm storms. You can heal blind men. You can restore lives. Why does it seem like rejection ruins mine? And why do you allow it? When we address rejection in this default pattern of first outward, then inward, and finally upward, this leads to this shattered lens. And when we have a shattered lens through which we view life, we become consumed by and for other people's opinions, which leads to an anxious heart. Secondly, we struggle with doubt in 3 areas. We begin to doubt people's intentions. We begin to doubt relationships. We begin to doubt ourselves. We wonder, well, I'm going to be rejected anyway, so I'm just going to live my life alone. Or we say, well, I seem to be rejected all the time, so what if I just try and be perfect? Maybe then I'll avoid being rejected. And then we begin to doubt God's goodness and mercy towards us, and the fact that he says he will make all things beautiful in his time, and we are living with a life ruined by rejection, or at least that's how it feels. These areas of consuming desire for another person's opinions leads to death of relationships, death of who God made us to be. We have doubt about other people. We have doubt about ourselves, and we have doubt about God. And all of that leads into a desert place where we are parched and desperate for thirst. And then we end up having this desire to control what people see about us, that desire to be perfect so that we aren't rejected. And yet that sets up unrealistic expectations for ourselves that we can never, ever meet. And then we try and control God. And sometimes we bargain with him, or we just set him on a shelf and say, I'm going to pick you up when I need you, but not until then. And even then, I don't know if I will, because when I need you, you don't seem to show up. This is the messy middle that rejection causes in our life. And it's what he wants us to reframe. He wants us to look at rejection through his lens, which we will get to what his lens is. But today I want to leave you with something to remember, to hang on to. I want you to remember that when you're covered in dirt and you have open wounds of rejection and you feel like you're bleeding out, God meets you with open arms and he's ready to hold you close. Psalm 31:19 gives us this hope. Oh, how abundant is your goodness, which you have stored up for those who fear you and worked for those who take refuge in you, in the sight of the children of mankind. You see, God's goodness is abundant. However abundance of rejection you may have in your life, God's abundance of goodness is greater. Take refuge in him. Come to him with your wounds. Come to him with your broken heart. Come to him with your perceived rejection, your actual rejection, your unintentional rejection, and your intentional rejection. He wants to be your refuge because he has abundant goodness for you.